Welcome to Southside Church. Our service is about to begin in 3 minutes. Please make your way into the auditorium and find a seat.
Good morning, church. Would you please stand with us as we worship together? Morning by morning, day after day, the more that I live, the more I'm convinced you've done good by me. If I forget it or don't say it enough, no, I'm all kinds of grateful, and I won't take for granted the things you've done. I can't explain it, escape, never erase it, but that's just the way that you roll. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough for the way that you saved me, forgave me. It's outright amazing. I can't help but think it's too much after all that you did. I can't thank you enough. Far too much mercy, oh, there's way too much grace, and no song does it justice, and words just don't cut you saved me, forgave me. It's outright amazing. I can't help but think it's too much after all that you've done. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. May not understand, but I can hardly stand in your presence. I fall to my knees. The weight of endless glory, it's almost too much for me to bear. What else could compare? Let my hallelujah be a heart surrender. Let my whole life sing how I love you. I love you when my words fall short and I have nothing more. Let my whole life sing how I love you. I love you. There's nothing I could say. There's nothing left to pray. It's your spirit that rises within me. It's deeper than my thoughts, better than my best of intentions. Oh, deep cries too deep. Let my
You can have all my moments, all my days. I give you all my worship, Jesus. You can have all my moments, all my days. I give you all my worship, Jesus. You can have all my moments, all my days. I give you all my worship, Jesus. You can have all my moments, all my days. I give you all my worship.
I give you all my worship, Jesus.
Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look for in His wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of His glory and grace. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look for in His wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of His glory and grace. And the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of His glory and grace. Ooh, in the light of His glory and grace. Amen. You can have a seat.
Well, hello everyone, and Merry Christmas. I think we can say that now. And if you don't agree with me, you know what? That's too bad, because I'm going to continue to say that. It is so good to be here with you all this morning. I wanted to take a special moment just to acknowledge, if you're here and you're new with us, maybe it's even your first Sunday, I just wanted to say how glad I am that you're joining us. I would love for you to get connected with us. And I'm just gonna ask you to do something very simple for me. Just text the keyword hello to our phone number, 604-670-3040. That'll take you to our digital connections card, and it only takes about 60 seconds to fill out, but it just allows for us to get to know you better and to know how we can best serve you here. And as a way just to say that we're so glad that you're joining us, and as a little welcome here gift, once you finish that, we'll send you a $5 Starbucks e-card, which is pretty sweet. You know, one of our hopes is that every single one of you, when you come to Southside Church, will have the best experience possible. And we have developed a couple of areas in our lobby to make that happen. So we have our parent area, which is designed for families who have young children who maybe get a little fussy or can't sit still during the service. I know that you'll find my wife and I there almost every week. And then our second area is our accessible services area. If you have a friend or a family member or a loved one who maybe struggles with overstimulation or just needs an extra little bit of support during the service, that is also available for you as well. And both of these spaces, they feature a simulcast of the service, so you won't miss a single moment of the message. And so if you need any help at all finding those spaces, our Next Steps team will be really happy to help guide you there. You know, if you couldn't tell already, I love Christmas, and we at Southside Church also love Christmas. It's kind of a significant holiday, you know, like there's something about a baby born in a shed or something like that, I'm not sure. But all jokes aside, Christmas is the best. It's the best time of year. And I get the privilege of announcing our Christmas service times to you this morning. And so on Tuesday, December the 23rd, we're gonna have services at 4 and 6 p.m. And then on Wednesday, December 24th at 2, 4, and 6 p.m. You know, Christmas is one of the best times of year to invite people in your life who are close to you but far from God to church. And so I want to encourage you and challenge you to start praying today about who God would have you invite to Christmas at Southside this year. And we have some incredible invites. They're so beautiful, so it makes it even easier for you to invite those people in your life. And so grab a few of those on your way out today to give to those people that God is putting on your heart and in your mind. You know, last night was incredible. If you didn't know, last night was our All is Bright initiative. So All is Bright started with a simple goal that we would bring help, hope, and home to the city of Chilliwack and make Christmas a little bit brighter for our city. And the method was pretty simple, that we would do everything in our power to make sure that no family would go through Christmas without food on their table, and that no child would wake up Christmas morning without a gift under the tree. And last night we saw as thousands of volunteers came and brought thousands of hampers and thousands of gifts and then delivered them to thousands of people. You know, that's incredible. And Pastor Mike is going to share a bit more about the logistics from last night, but this room was packed, like standing room only here in the auditorium. More volunteers than we've ever had before, which is really, really amazing. And you know, I believe that moments like last night were actually an opportunity for us to witness and experience miracles in 2025. You know, there's a famous story in the Bible about where Jesus finds himself among a crowd of 5,000 people who are all hungry. And there's this little boy who has his own lunch with him of 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And he decides that he sees this need and he wants to help. And so he does something kind of irrational. He gives his lunch to Jesus. And I'm sure he knew that his little lunch was not going to feed all those thousands of people, right? But what he did know is that he had seen Jesus do things that he had never seen anyone do before. He knew that Jesus was unlike anyone he had ever met in his life. And so he sacrificed his lunch and watched as Jesus multiplied it to provide all the 5,000 people with food and then leftovers to spare. You know, I believe that this is the kind of miracle that we saw last night playing out in our city. And it happened because there were people like you and like me who decided to give sacrificially, to step into the truth that Pastor Mike talked about last week, that we are simply money managers for God, and what we do with his money determines the rest of our life. Because we saw as Jesus took a simple box of food and multiplied it into hearts filled with hope. We saw as he took simple toys and multiplied them into homes filled with joy. You know, I believe that those kinds of miracles, they're not reserved for one time a year, one day a year, or one season a year. I believe that we can see miracles like that play out every single day. But it requires for us to step into trusting God with our money, and stepping into that truth that Pastor Mike shared with us. So I want to encourage you, if you have never taken that step before, you can take that today. Just simply text the keyword give to 604-670-3040, or you can stop at the giving desk in the lobby on your way out today. Now we're going to go into the message portion of the service, and I've just loved the focus that we've spent in the book of Acts. It's really been so incredible to hear from God through Pastor Mike, and I want to encourage you because I believe that God has something to speak to you this morning. There's a few things that you can do to just help ensure that that happens. The first one is silence your phones. Okay, shocker, they're a bit of a distraction, right? So put them on silent, put them in your pocket. The second thing is stay in your seat. You can't be impacted by something that you can't hear, all right? So stay in your seat, listen to the whole message. And then lastly, it can be so easy to forget when we leave this room. You get caught up in the hustle bustle of a Sunday, and taking notes really helps to remember, to internalize, and even gives you an opportunity to go back to something that impacted you this morning. And so if you don't have a notepad or a piece of paper, you can take them on your phone. We even have physical fill in the blanks in the lobby for today's sermon. And if you like to use your phone, we actually have a digital version of the fill in the blanks. So you can text the keyword blank to 604-670-3040 to get a digital fill in the blanks for the sermon today. I'm super excited for today's message. So why don't you guys join me as I lock in and listen today.
Hey. This is the third and final of 3 weeks we've spent discussing the first few verses of Acts chapter 8. We met this guy named Saul who becomes Paul, and we've been talking a lot about how 25 years later, God inspired Paul to write something that made it into our Bible in Ephesians chapter 6. Listen to what he said. It's super interesting and it really matters to you. He said this, that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of evil in this present darkness. That our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of evil in this present darkness. It really matters, and it kind of highlights some things that maybe we kind of all know, like, okay, so you're way more than skin deep. Same here. Right? There's a lot more to you and me than meets the eye. In other words, I'm not a human being having a spiritual experience. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And that matters too, because if there's depth to me and depth to you, and I think there's depth to this world that we live in. In other words, what I would suggest is today, here we are. Here we are in the seen world. But I think we all kind of understand that there's also an unseen world. There's a physical world and there's also a spiritual world. And according to Paul in Ephesians chapter 6, there's a battle going on. And it's a battle of light versus darkness. It's super personal to you because, listen, the battlefield of this conflict of light versus darkness is you. The battlefield of this spiritual conflict I'm referring to is you. C.S. Lewis said it this way. If I was taking notes, I would probably write this one down. He said, there's no neutral ground in the universe. There's no neutral ground in the universe. Every square inch, every split second is claimed by God and counterclaimed by Satan. That's a pretty strong statement. There's no neutral ground in the universe. Every square inch, every split second is claimed by God and counterclaimed by Satan. In other words, every split second of this moment that we have together is like a briefing as we prepare to go out to battle. It's a big deal. You know, in Acts chapter 8, we read that the church was under attack, which makes sense because the church has always been under attack, will always be under attack. And the reason is pretty simple. Jesus established the church. The Holy Spirit empowers the church to bring the light of God into a world that needs it. We stand for light. And so there's spiritual forces of darkness that will oppose the church, which matters to you. Because we get it, right? The church is not a building. The church is not a service. The church is you. The church is me. That's right. It's us. And so this battle is incredibly personal. Light versus darkness, spiritual forces of evil in this present darkness. Let's get more personal. This is the devil and his demons. The Bible sometimes refers to them as predators or wolves, sometimes refers to you as a sheep, which is kind of funny because it's a little bit of a mismatch. But I want to look at it from a slightly different angle today. I want to talk about light versus darkness, light versus darkness. Physically speaking, in a battle, in the physical world, in a battle of light versus darkness, which wins? There is a right answer. Always. If you walk into a room that is dark and you flick on a light, is there this big battle and you don't know what's going to win? Is this room going to stay dark or is it going to light up? Light wins. 1 John chapter 1, however, talks about this invitation that God, the Good Shepherd, as we've been referring to him as, the Good Shepherd, invites you and me to walk in the light rather than walking in the darkness. So if light overpowers darkness in the physical world, the same thing is true spiritually. Light wins. But what if you walk away from the light? Eventually, You walk far enough, where are you? You're in the darkness. If light always overpowers darkness, here's the plan that the devil and his demons have for you. There's no uncontested ground in the universe. Every square inch, every split second is claimed by God and counterclaimed by Satan. The plan that the devil has for you is that you would walk in the darkness, walk away. Promise is that when we walk in the light, and God is light according to 1 John chapter 1, God is light. When we walk in the light, we walk in truth. And that's what I mean when I say that the Good Shepherd, when he invites us to walk in the light, he's inviting us to a life of abundance. Another way that I've been saying is I've been rattling off these 3 words, and I want to make sure that we don't think that these are catchphrases. I've been talking about the fact that God always invites you and me to power and purpose and promise. And I want to explain each one of them so that they don't become catchphrases or you don't think I'm just drawing random words out of the air. So let's talk about the power of God for a second. I want to specifically talk about God's power to you personally. See, somewhere along the line, Jaden was born. God thought Jaden up, and he did a good job, and he had a plan for Jaden, a plan that Jaden would be a man of love and joy and peace and patience and courage and strength and hope. The truest version of you, the meest version of me. That was the plan. But then something happened to you. It's the same thing that happened to me. What do we call it? Life happens. Manifests itself different for Andre than it does for me, but it happens to all of us. And suddenly now, this truest version of me, this youest version of you is lost along the way. And so we settle for a shadow, a pale copy of who we were born to be. The power of God is a power of redemption and restoration. He wants to bring you back. He wants to restore what has been lost. As you walk in the light, you become more of everything you were created to be. We talk about God being a God of purpose. That's really simple. That God calls you and calls me to make a difference. We shine his light. We make a difference. We make a difference. We make a difference. And here's the promise that as you make a difference, you will be made different. So that when you shine his light to the world, if you give hope, you get more than you could ever give. If you give joy, you get more than you could ever give. If you give patience, you get more than you could ever give. If you give love, you get more than you could ever give. We make a difference. We have a purpose. And as we make a difference, we are made different. And finally, God wants to call you to walk in the light, to live a life of promise. In other words, Jesus is the same, undefeated. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And so because of him, because of Jesus, we know one thing for sure. The best is, I don't know how many chapters of your book are left, but I'm telling you, man, they're good. It's going to get good. The best is yet to come. But you have a spiritual enemy, and he has a personal plan for you also. He doesn't want you to live in power and purpose and promise. He wants you to walk away from the light and walk in darkness. And now instead of power, you settle for weakness. You understand what I mean? Whatever life has done to you, the devil has a plan that you would stay that way. If you're broken, no restoration for you, no redemption for you. What's lost is lost to you. Powerless to the circumstances of life. The second thing the devil wants for you is not a life of purpose, but a pathetic life. Talked about it before that our world is more spiritually hungry than our world has ever been. Your kids are more spiritually hungry than kids in the world have ever been. Your spouse, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, the kids at school, okay? And they want more than this world has to offer. That's the truth. and they look to you and they look to me, and what do they want to see? Power, love, joy, peace, redemption, restoration. But when they look to you and they see none of that, it becomes pathetic. And finally, the third plan that he has for you is that you would be ineffective. You won't make things better, you'll make things worse. Live a miserable life and live a trail of miserable people behind you. But here's the invitation. It's simple. It's profound, though. We're going to walk in the light. There's not a neutral ground in the universe. Every square inch, every split second is being claimed by God and counter-claimed by Satan. And so in this spectacular moment right now, we claim this. We walk in the light. We walk in the light. We choose power and purpose and promise. Jesus said it this way: you're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm gonna hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven. Another translation puts it this way: let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. You're like the moon. I'm like the moon. That's what we are. We're the moon. Ever thought about that? So the moon doesn't generate light, but it reflects the light of the sun. That's your job. You don't need to generate light. You just take the light shined on you by the Son of God, by Jesus, the Good Shepherd, the light of the world, and you reflect it to a world in need. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. Walk in the light and shine his light. One more verse, Philippians chapter 2. Well, not really one more verse until I get, this was just the intro to the sermon, by the way. Get comfy. Philippians 2, do all things without complaining or bickering with each other. Do all things without complaining or bickering with each other. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky. Then you will shine. Do all things without complaining or bickering. Do all things without complaining or bickering. Works really well for me because today I want to talk to you about the last two core values of Southside Church. What I want to suggest to you again is these are invitations to walk in the light. Okay? Do all things without complaining or bickering. So not surprisingly then, the last two core values of Southside Church are, number one, be grateful. We are grateful. Number two, we are together. We do things without complaining. We are grateful. We do things without bickering. We are together. We are grateful. We are grateful. Our buddy Paul in 1 Thessalonians 5 said, be thankful in all circumstances. We are grateful. We are grateful. Did you know that grateful people are more optimistic than ungrateful people? Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Grateful people are more creative than ungrateful people. Grateful people are better problem solvers, kind of just the same thing, better problem solvers than ungrateful people. Grateful people, by and large, are more successful than ungrateful people. And grateful people report living happier, more joyful lives than ungrateful people. Okay, none of that is really shocking, but it's a good incentive, right? That Paul, when God inspired Paul to write that 2,000 years ago, he knew what he was talking about. Be grateful. We are grateful. When you walk in the light, you are grateful. You choose to be grateful. It's a choice, by the way. But you have an enemy, and he has a personal plan for your life. He wants you to walk in darkness. He's going to give you two temptations that I can think of off the top of my head. He's going to tempt you to be a grumbler or be a grinder. Grumbler. A grumbler is just simply somebody who can see a black cloud behind every silver lining. You know what I mean? A grumbler is somebody who just looks on the negative side. And by the way, psychologically, it's way easier to attach to negativity than it is to positivity. It's hard to be grateful. It's easy to be a grumbler. I think it's made more difficult in our culture in our social media culture specifically, because I think in certain circles of social media, gratitude has been given a bad name. I really do. What I think has happened is people have hijacked this concept of gratitude, and then they pretend to be grateful, but what they really are doing is they're bragging. Okay, so I'm so #blessed. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful for my perfect body. So thankful. I wasn't talking about me. I was talking like somebody on social media, okay? Like, shut up. Okay, so, oh man, so #blessed. Like, so grateful for my perfect looks, for my amazing spouse, for my incredible, well-behaved, photogenic family. Oh man, so grateful for my new car, so grateful for my mansion, so grateful for my boat, so grateful for my vacation, so grateful, in fact, that I took a picture of myself and my really photogenic family on a dock overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. Wow, that's beautiful. So I want you to know something. If you're here today, sincerely, when we look at your picture, all we want you to do is take one more step back. That's it, man. I gotta be real with you because you're hijacking gratitude. You're not grateful, you're bragging. So humbled. No, you're not, you idiot. You're not humbled. Why do you say that? It's the opposite. You just want to brag. And so what happens is people have hijacked this concept of gratitude. That's not gratitude, that's bragging. But now suddenly it feels weird to be grateful. And so we settle for grumbling and we hang around with a bunch of other people who complain all the time. And every time we do that, what do? We walk away from the light and we walk towards the darkness. Now I gotta be real with you. I don't struggle with being a grumbler. I do struggle with being a grinder. And that sounds like a humble brag. Oh yeah, man, my biggest problem, I'm such a hard worker, you know? No, I don't mean that. What I mean is, listen to me, celebration is a spiritual discipline. And I suck at it. Celebration is a spiritual discipline. And I suck at it. Are you kidding me right now, Jake? Now you're taking pay. So, okay, I want to summarize what Jake is going to be doing today. Earlier, if you notice his camo jacket, he probably blended in, you couldn't really see him. He was playing drums. Now he's taking pictures. Later, so that you'll think it's a real spiritual moment near the end of the sermon, he's going to come up and play his guitar in the background. Guy's multi-talented, man. Yeah, let's hear it for Jake. What'd you say? What a grinder, man. I asked him earlier if there's any instrument he can't play, and I said, what did I say? I said trombone, and he said, no, I bet you could play it. Can you play it? What was I talking about earlier before Jake started taking pictures? You were listening, right? Come on, man, you gotta help me. I suck at celebration. Yeah, I do. I'll tell you a story. So years ago when I started coaching basketball, okay, I'm gonna coach the senior boys basketball team, and the team was terrible, and so I said, hey man, we're gonna work in the off season, we're gonna practice 5 mornings a week. That's every day, in case you don't know the math, every day of the week, of the weekday. Brother, I'm just losing it. Okay, so here we go, 6 a.m. And so not surprisingly, the grade 10, 11, 12s, they all love me, but they're like, that's crazy, Mike. Like, Mr. Manis, that's crazy. We're not doing it. And so now my senior boys basketball team is a bunch of grade 9 wingnuts with a couple of grade 8s thrown in. And we're grinding like every single morning, 6 a.m. we're practicing, and they're playing against grade 12s. And they're pretty good. By the time they're grade 11, we go to the provincial championship. This little group of grade 9 wingnuts, now they're in grade 11, we go to the provincial championships, they finish 3rd, and we're all stoked that we're gonna, maybe win the provincial championship when they're all in grade 12, And so we get to the semifinal of provincials, and we knew it was gonna be our hardest game. So we're up 6 with 4 minutes left. And I wanna tell you something about this little school, this tiny little school I coached at. This group of grade 12s, at this tiny little school, one of that group of grade 12s who start out in grade 9 happened to be the best player in the province, any level. This kid named Jamie Vaughn, sweetheart of a kid, still is, probably listening from North Van right now. Thank you, Carolyn. You know. So we get to the semifinal. We're rolling. We're up 6 with about 4 minutes left. And I'm sitting there on the bench, and I watch Jamie go up for a rebound and come down on somebody's foot. Boom, blows his ankle out. I'm like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. So they help Jamie off the floor. Trainers are looking at him. I'm like, we should be fine, right? We're up 6 with 4 minutes. We weren't fine. Okay, so now we're 2 minutes left. Now we're down 3. And I look up, and Jamie's standing there. He's like, put me in. I'm like, Jamie, you're on one leg. And I'm thinking, I can't do that. Like, I can't. What, the kid's going to injure himself. I look across the floor. Gym is packed with people, okay? But in the front row is Jamie's mom and dad. And they mouth to me, put him in. And I'm like, that's all I needed to hear. Okay, so I put Jamie in the game. He scores 7 points in a row. We end up winning, go to the final, win easily. And it was pretty cool because at the end of the final, we get the banner and all that stuff, and there's this big celebration. And then they announce the MVP, and it was Jamie, playing on 1.5 legs. And the gym is packed, and it's all spectators and players and parents of players from other schools. As soon as they announce Jamie, whole place stands up in applause. So cool, So we go for a big party in the hotel afterwards, and I never let my basketball teams eat junk food on the road at all, nothing. What a jerk I was. And so we're celebrating. We got pizza and we got pop, and we even letting them have candies. Whoa, and chips, And about 15 minutes into the party, Jamie comes walking up to me, and he says, hey, coach, do you have a few minutes? This is a party, right? Celebration. We just won provincials. He won MVP on 1.5 legs. You got a second? I'm like, yeah. He's like, can you give me 3 things I need to work on to be ready for the next level, to be ready for university basketball? And I think to myself, I love this kid. Wow, he's just like me. What a grinder. And by the way, it went fine for him. He went down to the States, he played for a bit, came back, won Canadian National Player of the Year. He's in the UFE Sports Hall of Fame if you ever want to look him up when you're there. It went fine. If I could go back to that moment, though, instead of spending, 45 minutes with my clipboard, writing probably useless nonsense, you know what I wish I would have done? I wish I would have said, hey, Jamie, not tonight. Let's just party. Let's just celebrate. Wasn't that cool? Remember all those hours at 6 o'clock in the morning from the time that you were in grade 9? How awesome is this? Let's just celebrate. I'm not good at it. I'm just not. I was thinking the other day about how when God brought his people into the promised land, they crossed the Jordan River to go into the promised land. And then God said, hey, what you do is when you get across, you stack up 12 stones. You stack them up there, and every time you walk by those 12 stones, if one of your kids says, what's the deal with the 12 stones? You know what you do? You stop. You stop and you say, man, I'm glad you asked. See, those 12 stones are a celebration of a God who brought us out of bondage into freedom, into the promised land. And we owe him everything. Be grateful. Be grateful. Call a timeout. Pause once in a while. And what's crazy about me is I was just about ready to go on to the next point, but I probably shouldn't. I should probably talk about something that happened last night. All is bright. We did All is Bright last night. It was pretty awesome. We had 2,200 volunteers this year for All is Bright. That's the most we've ever had. Yeah, we can celebrate that. This place was like jam full, standing room only. Just about 4,000 people were blessed by the efforts of Southside Church made possible by God this year, and we can celebrate that also. This feels weird to me. Celebration, I don't know, what's next? No, we're gonna sit in that for a moment. Because I still remember in 2016 when it was a massive stretch for our church to do All Is Bright and give $10,000 to our city. And I remember being up on ladders stringing people's Christmas lights who couldn't string the little Christmas lights, and that was cool and it was awesome. And God's just done miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. And I want to become better at celebration. I want to be a more grateful person. See, how's the finances thing coming together, Mike? Really good. People are really extending their generosity, and we're well on track. You can still give, however. There's the grinder in me. Some of the grinder is good, though, because the goal is 100% of people who call Southside Church home. That's you if you're here for the second time or more, would participate in financially to All Is Bright. Grumblers and grinders. Let me read you something. Somebody sent me this just about a week ago. It says this: every once in a while, a ewe, that's a female sheep, will give birth to a lamb and reject it. There are many reasons she may do this. If the lamb is returned to the ewe, the mother may even kick the poor animal away. Once a ewe rejects one of her lambs, she will never change her mind. These little lambs will hang their heads so low that it looks like something is wrong with their neck. Their spirit is completely broken. These lambs are actually called bummer lambs. Unless the shepherd intervenes, that lamb will die rejected and alone. So do you know what the shepherd does? He takes that rejected little one into his home, hand feeds it, and keeps it warm by the fire. He will wrap it up with blankets and hold it to his chest so the bummer can hear his heartbeat. Once the lamb is strong enough, the shepherd will place it back in the field with the rest of the flock. But that sheep never forgets how the shepherd cared for him when his mother rejected him. When the shepherd calls for the flock, guess who runs to him first? That's right, the bummer lamb. He knows his voice intimately. It's not that the bummer lamb is loved more, it just knows intimately the one who loves it. It's not that it's loved more, it just believes it because it has experienced that love one-on-one. So many of us are bummer lambs, rejected and broken, but he's the good shepherd, you know. He cares for our every need and holds us close to his heart so we can hear his heartbeat. We may be broken, but we are deeply loved by the shepherd. So I say to the grumblers out there, you can choose to be grateful. I say to the grinders out there, just pause for a second. Listen to this. I woke up this morning. My lungs work. My heart's beating. I got a family who I love so. I have friends. My friends don't have to love me. I don't even know why they do love me, but they do. It's crazy, this life that we have. I'll tell you one thing about us. We are grateful. When you walk in the light, you're grateful, and we are together. I want to show you a picture that was taken on May 26, 1940. It's a picture that hangs up in my office. That picture was taken outside of Westminster Abbey in London, England. Thousands of people are gathered outside of the Abbey because King George VI has ordered a national day of prayer for the people of England, and millions of English people got together and prayed. The reason they were praying, by the way, is because these were the early weeks of World War II. Hitler had blitzkrieged his way through Europe with such ease, in fact, that he had rolled up the remaining 400,000 Allied troops, mostly British. They had been in headlong retreat until they got to a little town called Dunkirk. Trapped on the beaches, it looked like there was no chance for them to survive. But then something happened on May 26, 1940. God's people in England pulled together. God's people in England pulled together, and then miracles happened. Miracle number 1, Hitler stopped. 12 kilometers outside of Dunkirk, Hitler stopped his advance. There was no reason. His generals were begging him to continue. Hitler, who gave himself his own code name during World War II, he gave himself his own code name. You know what it was? Wolf. Wolf, the personification of evil. He stopped his advance 12 kilometers outside of Dunkirk. Miracle number 2. A storm that people hadn't seen for years raged inland in France, so bad, in fact, that the German Air Force could not get their planes into the air, which was important because miracle number 3. While this fierce storm raged inland, the English Channel, the body of water that separated Dunkirk from safety in England, had never been smoother, which was a big deal because the Prime Minister of England at the time, a guy named Winston Churchill, he sent everything that would float from England over to Dunkirk. I mean, if you had a rowboat, he was sending you on a rowboat. Put a couple soldiers in it and row home anything that would float. The evacuation of Dunkirk, according to Churchill and his advisors, they hoped they could rescue 20,000 soldiers. Instead, just about 350,000 soldiers were rescued. Why? Because God's people pulled together and miracles happened. And Hitler didn't know it, but when the Dunkirk evacuation happened, he had lost the war. I'm convinced that when God's people pull together, miracles happen. I use it, by the way, I think when you walked in, you got one of these. It's that picture. And it just says when you know what it says. God's people pull together, miracles happen. I believe that. I believe that if we want to walk in the light, we got to pull together. I use that word pull together intentionally because I think it's an active thing. I think in 2025, November 30th, 2025, I think if we drift, you know what you need to do? You know what you need to do to drift? Do you know what you need to do to drift? Nothing. I think if you do nothing in November of 2025, you won't drift together. I think you'll drift apart. And God's plan for you and me is that we would pull together. To walk in the light is to pull together. But if we do nothing, if we drift apart, we're going to drift to one or two places, I think. The first is just isolation, right? Like, I drive up to my garage, I open my garage door, I drive in, I close my garage door. We can live our lives all on our own, but we can't really live our lives all on our own. It doesn't work that way. And yet there's something in our culture today that just drifts us toward we're the loneliest culture in human history. I think the second place that the enemy will have us drift if we do nothing, if we don't pull together, actively pull together. One more thing about isolation. The church is supposed to be a place of together. You know what I mean? That's the way it's supposed to be, you know? And so I wonder if you're here today and Southside is your church. And again, I would say that means that you're here for the second time or more. But you're not connected yet. I want to invite you to get connected. In fact, I want to specifically give you a step that you can take. Believe it or not, next Sunday is December 7th. And our Christmas series starts. It's crazy. And next month, December 23rd and 24th, we're running 5 Christmas services. It's a lot. Pray that old Mike will be able to make it through another 5 this year, okay? Okay, but here's the thing. If you've ever been to a Southside Christmas service, you know it's pretty unique. It's pretty awesome. And there's people who walk in here who have never set foot in church in their life, and it's just miracles happen. But they happen because God's people pull together. And so to pull 5 services off over 2 days, we need help. So if you're here and Southside is your church, this is your second time or more, and you're not yet serving, I want to ask you to do me a favor. Would you text the keyword serve to 604-670-3040. Now listen, when you do that, you're not promising you're going to serve for the rest of your life. You're promising, or you're saying that you would be interested in potentially serving for one or two of our Christmas services this year. It would help so much. And guess who would be helped the most by it? You would be. Pull together. Oh, the second place, if we just drift in 2025, the second place we'll drift is just alienation. Alienation. Not alien nation, but alienation. Oh, thank you so much. But it's true, you know. There's billions of dollars to be made in North America, in the Western world today, if we are kept angry and divided. Right? The attention economy. Heard somebody say not long ago that in some parts of the world, the greatest threat to the church comes from outside the church. In some parts of the world, the greatest threat to the church comes from outside the church, you know, like military, legal opposition to the church. In North America, they say the threat comes from, they're in the house. It comes from the inside. Anger and division. See, if you drift in 2025, it's easy for me to stand up here and say something like this. Hey, there's so much more that should bring us together than should drag us apart. I know that's true in theory, but it's hard in 2025, man, because you look around and you're like, wait a minute, she looks different than me. He talks different than me. They think different than me. Or a little thing, I don't think this matters much in November of 2025, but sometimes you might say, that person votes different than me. Does that matter in November of 2025? Hey, by the way, I'm not here to yell about politics. I'm not. So, man, if you're into politics, awesome. You should vote. You should care. You should get involved. But can I tell you something that you already know, and it's probably pretty important to remember? Prime ministers come and they presidents come and we have a king. His name is King Jesus. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's the King of all kings. He's the Lord of all lords. And our allegiance, hey, we're here to make this world a better place, but my allegiance is with the King of all kings. And so when I look at you, even if you think different than me, man, we pull together because we have the same Savior who we desperately need. When we pull together, when God's people pull together, miracles happen. We see it again and again and again. I want to end with a story. In the Old Testament, there's this prophet named Elisha. Such a cool guy. There's this one kind of season of time when the Arameans, they want to destroy Israel. And they should, like technically speaking, they have all the military might they should need to destroy Israel. But they can't, because what keeps happening is when the everywhere I go, man. Let's hear it for Jake again. So the Arameans, they're trying to destroy Israel. Did I say that? Okay, but they can't because God keeps telling Elisha, hey, this is what the Arameans are going to do. They're going to attack here and here in such and such a way. And then Elisha goes to the king of Israel, and then the Israelites just, they're ready, and they meet it, and they stop the attack. And the Arameans are like, what is happening? It's like they know everything we're going to do before we do it. And so finally someone tells the king of Aram, hey, you know what the problem is there's this prophet named Elisha, and he keeps telling them what you're going to do. And so the Arameans are like, oh, I got it. We're going to kill Elisha. So they start to hunt Elisha. They follow him everywhere. They're looking to trap him until one day they finally do. Elisha and his servant, they go and they spend the night in this little town called Dothan. And the Arameans at night, while they're sleeping, they surround them. And so the servant wakes up and he looks at all the Arameans surrounding them and he says, oh no, my Lord, what shall we do to Elisha? And Elisha says, don't be afraid. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. And if I'm the servant, I'm like, I'm no math whiz, but 1, 2, A whole bunch. And then Elisha prayed, open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see. Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. A few months ago, I had a bunch of different people, different friend groups, sitting in different parts of the church. They came to me after one specific service, and they said, Mike, you're gonna think this is crazy. I heard this a bunch of times, but they said, there was angels standing all along the highest row of the risers. I'm like, ooh. What did they look like? I've always been curious. They're like, we couldn't really see their faces, but they were big, man. Like they were like from floor to ceiling. Is that crazy? You know what's crazy? You wanna hear something else crazy? They're there right now. Those who are with you are more than those who are against you. Those who are with you are more than those who are against you. I was standing in here yesterday afternoon before all is bright, and I was preaching this message to an empty room, getting ready for you. And I just felt this overwhelming sense that God has gone before you into this moment. They're here right now. Those who are with you are more than those who are against you. I want you to just imagine for a second if we did this now to these angels, you know? Good Shepherd sent angels to look after us. And what if we did this? Hey, yo, get out. Hey, Stretch. Hey, tall dude, get out of here. We don't want you here. Leave. That would be weird, right? That would be dumb, right? Here's what I think. I think when we choose to grumble and grind instead of being grateful, I think that's exactly what we're doing. I think when we allow ourselves to drift apart instead of pulling together, I think that's exactly what we do. And so, you know, earlier to the angels who are here right now, when I was saying, scram, get out, we don't want you, that was just a joke. I was using an illustration. We really like you here. We really like your presence here is amazing. Those who are with you are so much more than those who are against you. You know what? Light shines in the darkness. Darkness can't overcome it. Let's pray. So here in this moment of reflection, with heads bowed and eyes closed, I want to tell you something. The invitation is to walk in the light starting right now, a life of power and purpose and promise starting right now. God loves you so much that he sent his son Jesus, that Jesus died on a cross and rose again for you. Your sins can be forgiven. Your life can be eternal. Salvation, everything that needed to be done has already been done. And now the next step is yours, just to accept that gift. With heads bowed and eyes closed, if today is the day you say, yes, Jesus, I accept that gift, can you raise your hand right now nice and high so I can pray for you? Incredible. If you're watching online and it's safe to do so, you can raise your hand also. That's great, guys. You can put your hands down. I'm going to pray out loud, invite you to just pray silently along with me. So Jesus, thank you that you are for us, Today, Jesus, we accept your gift of salvation. You died so we can be forgiven. We accept that forgiveness. You rose again for life today, tomorrow, and forever. And Jesus, for all of us here, no matter how long we've been going to church, weeks or months or years or decades, we confess to you today, Jesus, we are so grateful. We are so grateful. We pause right now in this spectacular moment to say thank you. Thank you for this life that starts now and stretches into forever. And Jesus, we tell you right now that we're not perfect, but we're going to do everything that we can do to pull together. Pull together, because we've watched you again and again. When we pull together, miracles happen. Miracles happen. We love you. We thank you. In your name, amen. Amen. Let's celebrate, you guys. Did I tell you next week Christmas series starts? And it's going to be awesome? Good. We'll see you there. Take care, guys.